1. Stevens Point's main event. Raw. Let's talk about Raw. Just right off the bat here. I didn't like it. The crowd chants like they're at a soccer game every time they're in London.
I know. I think the announcers play it off like you never know what's going to happen when we go overseas, but they're just obnoxious.
They're obnoxious, predictable. They're as dumb. The audience and fans are as dumb there as they are here.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people still boo Roman Reigns out of the building. I don't get it.
They boo Roman Reigns because they don't think he has the moveset. But they completely mark out of their seats when Brock Lesnar comes back and he has 3.
34 Germans.
34 German suplexes, a clothesline, and F5.
Yeah. Done. Thanks for coming. Yeah. But the thing with Roman, he has the ability to do more. Why don't they just let him do more?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one thing about Roman I don't like is when he cocks his arm for the Superman punch. You need a new finisher. You need a new trademark move. That's corny. You know, if it was 9.
But when he was in the Shield, he did that power bomb.
Yeah.
But he never does the power bomb anymore.
No, I don't get it.
The power bomb is a better move than the punch.
I read somewhere that there's some moves wrestlers can't use because other ones use them.
All right.
Like Kane and Undertaker were the only ones that were allowed to do the tombstone. So, who else does a power bomb as a finisher that Roman can't take? What's the word? If Roman does a power bomb and someone else is using it as a finisher, then it doesn't look as legit, I guess. It's too bad because I like Roman.
I like Roman. I think the only reason people boo him is because it's the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
If Sally or Billy are booing him, I'm going to boo him too.
Yeah. You liked the Seth Rollins match last night.
I think I said it last week before we got cut off.
Do we even mention that?
Well, you can edit it out.
We can edit that. Yeah.
But I said it. I said it before. I'll say it before, and I'll say it again. He is this era's version of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. I like him. I don't like him on the mic. I can't stand listening to him on the mic. I don't like how every wrestler has to be on the mic. If you're good in the ring, then stick to the ring. Like even with Roman, he's not that great on the mic. And that's why I think people boo him.
You don't need to be good on the mic.
No. There needs to be more wrestling than mic.
I liked Chris Benoit, and Chris Benoit was one of the best wrestlers. But if you remember correctly, he was one of the worst people on the mic.
Yeah.
You could not give him a live mic because it was dead air.
He'd always triple versus 14.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to me, that shouldn't matter.
No.
And everybody looks at The Rock. The Rock was a pretty average wrestler, but he was the best talker in the history of wrestling.
Like his moveset was pretty basic.
Exactly.
He just very charismatic the way he presented each.
That rock bottom, that's pretty much a power slam. That's it.
Yeah. A one-armed power slam.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Roman and Jinder. You don't like Jinder?
I've never been a big fan of Jinder. I think he's a mid-carder at best.
But you gotta remember when you probably didn't like him before, and neither did I. He was probably 50 pounds lighter. Now he's back and jacked up, and he's like the top. He's like the best heel out there right now.
I personally like Drew McIntyre better. I think Drew McIntyre should have Jinder's spot.
Yeah, that would be neat. I don't know why.
Drew McIntyre should not be with Dolph.
No,
I think
Dolph needs to go home or change his name.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That name what does it mean? What the hell is it, Dolph?
I have no idea.
His real name's Nick. Go by Nick. Nick Ziggler. Jeez. That's one thing for me is names.
One thing, now that it's on the top of my head, is since we're talking about Raw, Booker T is terrible. Every time he's just terrible.
I don't like Corey Graves. I can't stand him.
I'm not the biggest Corey Graves fan either, but I'll take him over Booker any day of the week.
I'll take Booker over. I'll take anybody over Corey Graves. I don't like his mannerisms, the way he makes stupid faces. Some of his one-liners are funny, like a Lawler type thing, but I just can't stand
Like Booker in the middle of a match, he'll be talking, and you can hardly understand him.
He fumbles over words.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
He trips. Corey Graves, I'm on Corey Graves. Sucks. Balls. So, all right, let's just look at my list here from our first episode that failed. So this is, should we call this episode 1.1?
Yeah, 1.1.
1.1. All right. Raw, there's not really much to talk about. It wasn't that great.
No, it's never really that
The one
great.
thing I did like was Seth Rollins given, what is it, a Falcon Arrow or Arrow Falcon?
On the apron.
On the apron. That was beautiful. That was like, I don't know how you walked away from that, because that's solid. There's an inch of foam there. There's no give. That's gotta hurt.
And one thing, before we stop talking about Raw, is why is Bobby Lashley feuding with Sami Zayn? I think in the back of his mind, I think Bobby is regretting signing with WWE.
Already?
What have they done? Had him doing in the first month?
They're really making him look like a baby face. Doing interviews with Renee Young.
They shouldn't do
I
it.
don't know.
He was an awesome heel.
He needs to be healed. That's why I'm hoping all this build up to a big baby face comes crashing down into a super heel. Because him as a heel he's so dominating, but if they're gonna put him with Lesnar, he can't be, unless you have two heels.
Unless Paul Heyman turns on Brock and goes with Lashley.
New kid in town.
There's a rumor that Lesnar's going back to UFC.
Mm-hmm. But there's also a rumor he's going to hold the belts at WrestleMania.
I hope not.
Which is a year.
I hope not. The Universal title should be on Raw, not every 4 months.
Well, I don't mind, like when Cena was champ, and you saw him all the time. It's oversaturation. When I was a kid watching wrestling, you saw Hogan on Saturday Night's Main Event and pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't see him on All Stars.
Yeah.
You didn't see him on Wrestling Challenge. You saw the champ when it was important. That's the way it should be now. Like, that's why I like Lesnar, because when you do see him...
However, I agree with you to a point, but looking back at it, it was neat when I was a kid, but looking back at it, nobody should hold a belt for 4 years. Hulk Hogan held that belt for 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't care how over you are with the crowd, you should not hold the world title for 4 years.
Well, who held it the longest? Was it Bruno? Like 17 years
That's
or something?
absurd.
That's stupid. I suppose it's easier to do that when...
Why would anybody go
without
watch
cable.
the match knowing the end?
Yeah, but you gotta remember back in the 60s and 70s, they didn't have cable where you could watch it. You had the territory, so he was champ here, then he would go back down wherever, and...
I remember being a little kid and everybody loving Hulk Hogan. I was one of the few wrestling fans. I was never a big Hogan fan because every single match was the same.
I was a Hogan fan.
He got his butt kicked for the first 70% of the match. Then he'd Hulk up, to a boot.
Do you remember when Hogan got hurt and Tugboat Thomas was going around telling people to send him letters?
I don't remember that.
I sent him a letter. I was probably 13, 14 years old when I sent him a letter.
See, my favorite wrestler when I was a kid, not many people know this, but I just liked his personality and I loved his finishing move. I loved Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
What was his finisher?
He was a jumping pile driver. You know, most people when they do a power driver, they just fall down.
Yeah.
He actually jumped into it and did a pile driver.
That's pretty dangerous nowadays. I
Oh,
wonder
they would never do that.
How many
now.
people did he injure doing that though?
Actually, if you looked at it, he would very rarely injure people because where he put the guy's head is right there.
Yeah.
So he would never come close to the mat,
Yeah.
ever.
I suppose if you got big enough legs to hold it, so he doesn't slide and hit. So all right, we're getting off topic here. Are we done with Raw?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to talk about now? Should we talk about our WrestleMania predictions?
Yes.
We wrote these down last week, and I think maybe we should try to. I don't know if we can do this every week, but maybe just change things up.
This is not our predictions. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, this is not predictions. This is, I think, what wrestling fans would love.
Because the WWE office would never go for it.
No. Which, yeah, because they're idiots. Anyway, Rollins versus Styles at WrestleMania 35 in an Iron Man match.
That would be
An hour.
An hour. That would be Brett versus Shawn.
Yeah. Yep. 60 minutes. That would be beautiful. Okay, so.
And like we were saying, I think that Rollins versus Styles in an Iron Man match would be the perfect way to finally see a Roman Reigns heel turn.
He just
He
Superman
come
punched
out,
both.
come out at the end of the match. The referee gets knocked out, and
So we're not getting a Roman heel turn until.
that would be perfect.
It'd be perfect. I don't know if he can make it another year being booed out of the building as a face, because people were cheering for Jinder when he came out.
Which is absurd, but that's another story.
You know? So Rollins versus Styles Iron Man match WrestleMania 35. It's written down. What do we win if that happens?
Free tickets to WrestleMania?
There we go. Where's WrestleMania this year? New York.
New York.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. What else did we have? We had another one. Well, this was your prediction for this year's SummerSlam was Lashley versus Lesnar for the title. I think if Lesnar's gonna drop the title to anybody and anytime, it needs to be SummerSlam
Yeah.
to Lashley,
Yeah.
because you can't keep feeding us Lesnar versus Roman and Roman keeps losing. And they screwed up with Braun too. We keep going. Lesnar's big, but he's really got somebody tied around his finger.
Yeah.
He gets away with murder, right?
Well, last year you could tell they were slowly building Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
They were slowly building him, and then middle of the summer last year, or it was late fall, they had him wrestle Lesnar, and Lesnar pinned him with one F5.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So you're pushing this monster among men, and he gets knocked out from one move. It doesn't make any
Doesn't make
sense.
sense.
You shouldn't even had those two fight.
No.
You shouldn't even come close to that.
Don't even put them in the same building.
Like that Money in the Bank. What I would do, I know we said Lesnar versus Lashley, but if they don't do that, my second option, the Money in the Bank, have Strowman win, and then the next night on Raw, him challenging Lesnar for a title match at SummerSlam.
Which would be interesting because most people come in with a briefcase
Exactly.
after the champ's already.
Which, by the way,
spent.
that is done. Come up with something new.
Yeah.
Like-
This would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Strowman doesn't need Lesnar at 10% to beat him.
Yeah,
Give me 100%
Yeah.
Lesnar.
and that way they'd have, because Money in the Bank is June, and SummerSlam's not for till late August, so that way you'd have 2 months to build on that. That's what I would.
And just like threatening him, I'm coming for you. I
Yeah.
got this, Lesnar. I'm coming for you.
I like Strowman.
He needs to be a stalker monster.
And like Stone Cold said on his podcast, I don't know if you saw it,
I didn't
or hear anything, but I agree with him. They need to book Strowman like a monster. Like,
Yeah.
You know, him having the little kid be his take. Don't have him be like all nicey nice guy.
I totally get he's a good guy, like off camera.
Yeah, I know, but
But you can't flip ambulances and semis and then the next week, hey, what's his name, Nicholas?
yeah.
It's like WWE. All they do is contradict themselves every week. Monster, and then like a babyface Make-A-Wish Foundation savior.
Yeah.
I don't get it. All right, let's. We didn't do this. Wait, yeah, we did. Baszler versus Rousey. So now with Rousey, this was this a prediction for SummerSlam or WrestleMania? Or is this just a match we want to see? Because they're both pretty tough chicks. What do you think about Rousey challenging?
Here's the deal.
Jazz?
Nia challenged her.
Okay.
She actually said there's more women that deserve more than me.
Mm-hmm.
And Nia said, well, I'm not challenging them, I'm challenging you. So here's what I predict. Rousey is going to look like she's going to finish off Nia and win the championship.
Yeah.
And Natty Neidhart comes out and turns on Rousey, setting up those two at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because you can have Natty. She's like Big Show. She's a face one week and a heel the next.
Exactly.
So and she's like really super cuddly and huggy with Rousey now. So it's gonna be.
She's gonna turn.
It's gonna be beautiful when she turns because it's like, she's a pretty good heel.
Yeah.
She's too smiling, too cheery as a face. I like her as a heel.
So that's gonna set up them at SummerSlam because they're not gonna. They built up Nia for years. They're not gonna have her drop the title in a month.
Yeah. Well, she's been on the main roster what, 2 years?
Yeah.
And then in NXT for like a year.
Exactly.
So she's still. They're both green. They're both jabronis. I don't see that being a good match. I think it's gonna be sloppy. Usually when you have someone like Rousey come in, you need someone that's experienced that can carry the other person. I don't see Jack being able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it should be Charlotte or Natty. Natty needs to help put Rousey over.
That would be SummerSlam.
Natty versus Rousey.
At SummerSlam.
So what happened? Does Rousey beat Jax for the title? No.
Rousey looks like she's gonna beat Jax, and then all of a sudden Natty comes out.
Natty comes in.
Acts like she's gonna help help Rousey, and she turns on Ronda.
She deserves it more than Rousey.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not stealing my
That's the storyline. As soon as I saw that, how they got the match, I thought that's a storyline right there.
Which is cool because they're starting backwards. They're starting at the end and then working their way to. You know what I'm trying to say, right? That's how some of these matches and storylines feel like they're just thrown together and they don't make any sense. So if that's the route they're going to go, then that's good. That's cool, kind of cool. So all right, we covered ladies. I'm just going to say Becky Lynch is underrated,
Very underrated.
underused. She should be champ. Who is the champ on SmackDown?
Carmella.
Yeah, I don't like that.
If you're gonna make women more serious than it was back in the '90s when we were kids and it was Sable and Sunny and couldn't wrestle a lick, why do you have Carmella, who is a horrible wrestler, but they had her beat Charlotte clean at the last pay-per-view? That doesn't make
any
lick of sense.
0 cents. You can't go.
Carmella might be good in a year or two, but if you ever watched her wrestle, she's not that good at it.
She doesn't sell very good.
No.
And that's the biggest thing for me is being able to sell it. You know, anybody can punch and kick and do flips, but if you can sell a kick and a flip and make me believe, okay, that might
Sometimes
actually,
people oversell though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of.
You remember when Austin stunned McMahon for the first time? It's going way back, and Stone
Was that when he was
Vince,
shaking?
yeah,
and
Vince
shit
looked
his
like he was
pants?
having a seizure.
Yeah.
Any other wrestler, he just pins him. But Vince looked like King Kong just squashed him.
Alright, well. Oh, here's our other. Is this our WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Alright, Miz versus Daniel Bryan.
There's another thing.
Mm.
Everybody is talking about Brian coming back.
Yeah.
Everybody is loving Daniel Bryan. Have him struggle for a little bit, and then have him win the title either from Styles or Nakamura if Nakamura wins, but have him win the title, and then have Miz win the Money in the Bank, and the Miz cash in on Bryan. The Miz would be like the biggest heel in the WWE if he did that.
Miz is an awesome heel. I don't like him.
He's a good heel. Not that good of a wrestler. I've never been that. How you feel about Dolph Ziggler, that's how I feel about the Miz. There's something about him I've never been a big fan of.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to see Nakamura as champ. I think that's not how you represent the company. I still don't understand his gimmick if he's touched or what. I don't get it. You said he was like that in New Japan. I didn't watch too much of him in New Japan. I'm a big Okada fan.
So you gotta start watching New Japan.
I recorded. So, all right, let's go. Styles stays champ. Is Bryan in the Money in the Bank?
He lost to Rusev.
Oh yeah. So how can we get a Bryan? Did Bryan and Styles already wrestle? Did they wrestle a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, on SmackDown.
That was a waste.
Yeah.
I remember now. That was a waste. That's a SummerSlam match. Maybe it's because Bryan wasn't 100%. Yeah. Maybe there's ring rust. But a Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match. Maybe Bryan gets the belt from. Yeah, Adrian Adonis is fat. We wrote that down last week. How did we get on Adrian Adonis?
Because we were talking about the worst matches we've ever seen.
Oh yeah. Styles versus Bryan. How did we get the belt on Daniel Bryan?
That's a good question.
Because that's probably the end game. Daniel Bryan is champ, like the ultimate comeback, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, had retired for 2 or 3 years. So,
But I do think if I was booking it, which I'm not, but if I was booking it, I would have Strowman win the Money in the Bank, and the next day call out Lesnar and say, "I'm challenging you to a match at SummerSlam."
But why doesn't he try to challenge him? I want to challenge you tonight, like the day after, and then they play cat and mouse till SummerSlam. Like he challenges them every Monday.
Because I don't want the whole having the champion wrestle and then the guy with the briefcase comes out after he's already out of it.
They don't want
That's so played out.
that. Strowman doesn't need to do that, so they can't do that.
I know, but it's so played out.
I know. But I'm just, ugh.
They do that every single time somebody wins you don't need to do that every single time. Once in a while, that's awesome. But every single time,
Every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you feel very, well, I guess, well deserved. But it just feels cheap.
The best cash-in I ever.
Are you a real champ?
Best cash-in I ever seen. I think it was 2005 or 2006, and the WWF had a thing called ECW One Night Stand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rob Van Dam a couple months earlier won the Money in the Bank. So RVD challenged Cena at the One Night Stand in Philadelphia, and Cena was supposed to be the face, and RVD was supposed to be a heel. Well, that was ECW territory, and Cena was like booed completely out of it.
I don't know how he did that. I wasn't murdered.
And RVD ended up winning that match. That was the best cash-in.
It needs a.
But they love doing that run in at the.
I suppose if it's your hometown, maybe do it.
Yeah.
Something a little special because you're taking the flavor out of the steak when you just have it cheap like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I wouldn't want to win my first championship that way. You know, I could understand if your first title defense after getting it that way is WrestleMania, but it still doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I had to take advantage of somebody to. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't want that for my character, at least. All right, what else we got?
Now we got to figure out a way for the WWE to hire Remedy.
Yeah, Remedy's not coming back. Remedy needs to stand because his back hurts. That's when I should put the Remedy rules.
Exactly.
Remedy rules.
This is Remedy, by the way.
There's probably 3 people in wrestling land that knows that. And if shout out to Paul Kaminsky, the Polish badass. We're gonna have him on the show.
Hell
Our
yeah.
special guest coming up soon. As soon as we get a hang of this episode. Also, it's what time is it? It's noon on a Tuesday. Very rare that we're going to be doing these at noon on
Yeah.
Tuesdays. This is just how things worked out for our first one since last week didn't take. So we are going to have special guests. I've got my cousin, Billy Strumkuski, the Polish powerhouse. He was going to be what was he supposed to be? The Polish Crusher or
You
something.
never told me that.
No? You know Bill Strumkuski?
No, but you never told me that he was a wrestler.
Oh, no. When we were kids, that was.
Oh, okay.
He was, yeah. We would go to Sunday school with wrestling magazines and get in trouble for reading wrestling magazines. But I think his name was a Polish Crusher, and I forgot who I was.
Do you remember, and see if anybody out there remembers, do you remember, everybody remembers the WWF magazine,
Yeah.
but I never got those.
No?
I would go to the supermarket, like Cops or County Market, and get those PWR magazines.
That's what I would
It
do.
had like the top 100 rated wrestlers.
PWI, Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling Illustrated,
Yeah.
I used
PWI,
my mom.
that's what
Yeah.
it was.
My mom, we would go grocery shopping.
Did the same thing.
What was it, Piggly Wiggly? Yeah, it was Piggly Wiggly in
Just
Park
stay
Ridge.
by the
And then,
magazine rack.
Mom, we're gonna go to Park Ridge Pharmacy, and me and my brother would just literally sit there on the floor reading wrestling magazines. My mom would have to come yell through the door, "Hey, we're done shopping." And then, gotta go. Yeah, that was the best part of going grocery shopping with Mom was going to Park Ridge Pharmacy. Or if we had to go to IGA, they used to have the VHS tapes.
Oh yeah.
We'd go look for new WrestleManias, whatever they had. Always rent those.
Remember, I used to rent the WrestleManias from a place in town called Randy's Video.
Where was that?
It's on the north side. It's where that tanning salon is now, in the parking lot at Kmart.
Oh, okay.
It was
a
right
video
there.
store.
Yeah.
Randy's Video. Sounds sketchy.
Well, it was the only place I never did it because I was young, but it was the only place in town that you could go get adult films.
Really? Huh. That's what I was. With a name like Randy's, you would know they have a secret stash in the back. All right. What else? We got our Starcast and All In coming up. We really need to try to. I know we can't get in, but if we get the Starcast, that would be awesome. So let me check this out again. Yeah, it's New Japan.
New
And
Japan
isn't it Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Yep.
Headlined by Cody Rhodes and the New Bucks,
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks.
So, alright. I was spelling Starcast wrong the first time. I only had one R.
And I've always liked Cody Rhodes. I know he's not 300 pounds like Vince likes his wrestlers, but
I know. You know. Come on. Well, I think maybe I'll do some research on Starcast later.
yeah.
Because I can't. 2 R's. Starcast.
August 31st, us two are going to Chicago.
Oh yeah, St. Punk. August 31st.
CM Punk is going to be signing autographs and pictures
Pro Wrestling Tees.
at Pro Wrestling Tees.
Tickets are probably gonna be sold out like that.
Yeah.
Plus they're $90 a ticket just to a picture and an autograph. So I think if we just get in the building and say, hey, there's Punk right there, that's good enough for me.
Exactly.
That's good enough for me. So that's August 31st in Chicago. We got to hit that. StarCast.com. Here we go. Thursday, August 30th. Wait, Punk is 31st to see the day after? Oh, StarCast is, okay.
Yeah.
StarCast is like the pregame
Yeah,
show.
it's like
Yep.
access for us.
Because All In is 31st.
Yeah.
Thursday, August 30th at 6 to Sunday, September 2nd. Oh, it starts Thursday.
Well, it's all weekend then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should take out a loan and just spend the whole weekend then. That'd be awesome. This really is like an indie WrestleMania though.
Yeah.
Like how these guys sold 10,000 tickets in 30 minutes. That's unheard of. Nobody does that except for Vince, and takes a lot nowadays.
Maybe that's because wrestling fans, hardcore wrestling fans like you and me, are kind of getting sick of the WWE.
It's
It's geared for, how can I put this? It's not geared for middle-aged men like you and me. It's geared for little kids, mostly little kids,
yeah.
and they don't care about men from the ages of 18 to
45.
45. They don't
50.
they don't give a damn
Yeah.
about men that age.
And every time I thought this morning when I was watching Raw, every time I watch wrestling now, I ask myself, why do I still watch this?
Exactly.
Why do I still watch this? I've
It's
been
a habit.
watching it
It's a
30
habit.
plus years.
I tell my wife every day.
It is habit. It's like an addiction, right?
It's a habit.
And if you don't watch Raw, it's like, oh my God, what happened on Raw last
She
night?
even says last night, we were getting ready for supper, and she's like, "Oh, you got to get supper before 7 o'clock because wrestling's going on." She even knows that. I'm like,
It's like, yeah, that's bad stuff,
last
man.
week I was doing something, and I was running late. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna miss the first part of wrestling." And I said, "I don't care." And then I thought to myself, 20-year-old Mike would have never even thought about missing.
I gotta leave work early. I can't work overtime.
But now I don't care because the first 20 minutes is just talk.
And with social media now that we didn't have as kids, if there was something important, it's going to be all over the internet. And very rarely is there anything worth going back to check. I don't get excited over that anymore.
The only thing that would get me excited in wrestling is if at that All In pay-per-view,
Yeah.
if they could talk Punk into coming out and say, "Here's live Mike, go for it."
Pipe Bomb 2, Part 2. So we got Thursday, August 30th, official StarCast meet and greet. It starts at 5 with Cody and the Young Bucks. I've told you before, I'm not a fan of Cody, but I think he's got a big part of this indie scene getting bigger. It's really tiresome to have Vince at the top.
I've always thought he was very underused.
And what a slap in the face to be Stardust.
That's why he left.
Just
When he did that as a tribute to his dad, because his dad was always Stardust Dusty Rhodes. When he was first started
really,
back in the 70s.
I didn't know
was his
that.
nickname.
I didn't know Stardust. No kidding.
Yeah.
I just figured it was a playoff for Goldust.
It was a tribute to his dad. And then once his dad died, after doing that gimmick for a year, he went to the office and said, "I'd like to be Cody Rhodes. I can get over being Cody Rhodes." And Vince didn't believe him, so he said, "Can I have my release?"
Let me go.
And look what
Look what he's doing now.
he's gotten over.
Is it less than a year?
Yeah.
2 years? Oh, here we got at 7 o'clock on that Thursday, the Great Debate, the Monday Night Wars with Bruce and Eric. Bruce,
Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff? Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that'd be awesome to see. Just to have those two guys. You got one from each guy, like the top dogs at each show, talking about the Monday Night Wars. And that's when wrestling was best.
The day WCW was sold to WWF,
I cried.
that was the end of wrestling for
Yeah.
me.
Yep. Yeah, it really was, because you can't buy your competition.
And everybody wonders why I still call it the WWF. It will always be the WWF.
I don't. I very
I will
rarely
never call it the WWE.
No.
If I call it the WWE, it's a mistake.
It's
It
a
would
oops.
always be the WWF.
Yeah. So then we got Tony Schiavone's going to be there. Papa Buck Jam Session at 9. I think that's Young Buck's dad.
All right.
Yeah, I think. Holy crap.
I just yawned. Edit that out.
Wrestle Crap with R.D. Reynolds. Video game tournament hosted by Leva Bates. Total Nonstop Jarrett with guests. Is Jarrett still with TNA?
I don't know how that works. No, he's not. I don't think he is with TNA.
Because he was just inducted in the Hall of Fame, and he was just did the Table for 3
Yeah.
show.
I watched that.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Do you like Elias?
See, I like his gimmick.
I'm not a big fan of his gimmick. I like his look. To me, he looks like Randy Savage.
Yeah,
And then
he does.
last night on Monday, he did that elbow. Was that like Randy Savage in jeans?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's giving me goosebumps right now. Miss Savage.
Well, here's the deal. That triple threat match,
Yeah.
Elias should have won that match.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Money in the Bank, that's for somebody like Elias.
Yep.
Kevin Owens is already established.
Yep.
Who was the other person in that match?
No way, Jose.
No,
Are we thinking of different triple threat?
no, I was thinking it was Lashley.
Elias. Wasn't it Rude?
No, it was Owens.
Owens. Ooh, okay, it was Rude.
Rude, Noe, Jose,
No way.
and Baron Corbin.
Thank you. Yeah.
But the Money in the Bank is a way to get newer stars established.
Mhm.
Kevin Owens is already established.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, everybody knows Bobby Lashley. He's already established. He doesn't.
Yeah.
need
You
the
don't
money,
need
right?
it. This is to bring
But Elias, he could use the Money in the Bank push. You know?
and his character, the way they use the Money in the Bank is, like a cheap win.
I did get a kick out of in the middle of the match. He wanted to sing. Did you see that?
I missed that. That must have been fast
Both
forward.
of them were down. Lashley and Owens were down. Then he's looking at one side, looking at the other side. Both of them were out on one side of the apron, on the outside. And then he's like, pointed to the microphone, and he's grabbed his guitar and he was going to start singing
I
that.
missed that.
Kevin Owens got back in the ring.
Here's another one. War Games retrospective.
I love that. That's my favorite match of all time.
Is War Games is it 2 or 3 the multiple rings?
Huh?
What's War Games again? That's
Two rings.
2 rings.
In the cage.
Is it a cage too?
2 rings in the cage, and it's a team of 5. And there was always a coin flip backstage to see who would come in, who would get the 2-on-1 advantage. 2 people would always start.
Mhm.
It was usually face against heels, and 2 people would start, and after 2 minutes, whoever won the coin toss, that person would come in. And for 2 minutes, they could double team the one person. Well, the heels always had a 2-on-1 advantage. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen the face
course.
get a 2-on-1 advantage. Yeah. But I love that match just because it was always bloody.
Oh, yeah.
There's another thing.
No blood.
That's ridiculous. How can you have a cage match? I laugh my butt off when I see WWF having cage matches now. How can you have a cage match and if I slam your head into a cage and there's no blood? Explain that to me.
Unless there's hardware blood, juice.
Lesnar
Is that what
does
they
it
call
every once in a
Juice?
while.
Yeah.
Lesnar did it with Reigns. Lesnar did it with Randy Orton a couple years
Orton
ago.
did that. I hope he got a raise out of that because I think Lesnar just went berserk on Orton. I don't know how Orton didn't say screw this, I'm out of here. I don't know why he agreed to it, but anyway, yeah. And then if there is blood the hard way, there's a ref right on him.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Oh my God, can you imagine that back in the '70s with Flair and Rhodes or something?
Exactly.
Ridiculous. I hate it. I hate wrestling nowadays. Why are we doing this show? I hate wrestling.
Talking about the old days, Jeremy.
And our dreams, you know, like our WrestleManias. We should just call it. We should call
I
it
think
show.
wrestling, I've said it before and I'll
Booker.
say it again, wrestling will be better when Vince retires and he gives it to Triple H and Stephanie.
Yeah, hopefully Triple H.
Triple H?
Something.
Triple H runs NXT. And you ever watch that episode of NXT?
Yeah.
It's like watching WCW or the NWA from
Yeah.
1988.
It's
They're built and it's like they're talking to wrestling fans like us,
Yeah.
you know? But how many times, like there's this guy, and there's a couple people out there will know who I'm talking about, that I love, and he's going to be an absolute superstar, and you're going to love him when he comes up to the main roster. And if they misuse him, I will never watch wrestling again.
they'll misuse him. I don't know.
He's
who they're
a
going.
wrestler on NXT. His name is Aleister Black.
Ugh.
I love that.
I don't like him.
His
He looks like a really tall, skinny CM Punk.
bingo.
I don't like it. He looks goofy.
His wrestling ability is awesome.
Is that this? Doesn't he jump and then like sit with his legs crossed? Is that him? Yeah. I don't like him. I think it's a cheap ripoff of
There
Punk.
is a match between him and a guy. His name is Velveteen Dream, and it was a great match. But when wrestlers come up to the main roster, they don't use them
No.
at all.
No.
Good. Like one of the best matches I've seen in the last 15 years was a match. It was at NXT Brooklyn a couple years ago.
Mhm.
It was Iron Woman match between Bayley and Sasha.
Best match ever. Best women's match ever.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then both of them came to the main roster, and they were just down.
Yeah. That's it's like if I was in NXT and I was told, hey, you're going up to main roster, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
Please no.
Yeah,
Because you're going to destroy my character, you're going to destroy my dreams. It's like a curse to go to the main roster nowadays.
exactly.
I wouldn't want it. You're getting better matches, better competition in NXT. And I don't know, just there's no competition. They really should have never bought WCW.
No. Granted, at the end of WCW,
It
it
was-
was horrible. It was
The
it
management took a crap.
Yeah, it was absolutely. I can't even describe how bad the wrestling was at the last days of WCW. But if a newer person would have taken it over,
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff wasn't running it at the end,
No.
but he had a firm come in and they were going to put a bid in to buy WCW at the end.
Mm.
But something came up and it went down, and he couldn't afford it on his own.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So if Bischoff would have been running it at the end, I think it would still be around.
All right, I'm sorry. Wheelchair wrestling.
The reason why we called it that is, I think it was 1996, in the main event of Starrcade, and Starrcade was their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The main event of Starrcade 1996, and they thought it was a huge deal, was Roddy Piper against Hulk Hogan. When both the main event of your main show, and both of them are in their mid-50s. I have nothing against older people.
It's almost like they wanted to relive. Was that WrestleMania 2?
Exactly.
Or was that one?
One. But then you switch the channel, and there's Austin flipping the bird to his boss, and The Rock going nuts, and all these younger superstars. And why would anybody want to watch
Hogan and Flair and Piper.
55-year-old men wrestling? Yeah.
This match is sponsored by Metamucil and Depends. Yeah. I was upset when Hogan went to WCW. Was that 94?
Yeah.
93-ish? That pissed me off.
But he was kind of getting down there in the WWF. He wasn't as popular as he once was.
You had all the young guys coming in. All right, we're touching all bases today. We might as well. First episode, give them a taste of what they're gonna have to deal with if they want to watch us.
We're not going to talk about wrestling all the time.
No. Let's make a list of things that we should talk about. Like I mentioned, local beers. I know you don't like dark beers.
I'll try it.
I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna get you some Left Hand Stout. Maybe that's what we should do. We should have. Just go to Triggs, get a 6-pack each. You get beers that you like, and then we'll introduce our favorites to each other,
Right.
and then I don't know, maybe we'll rank them or something.
Yeah.
So like a top 12 list or even the top 10. Unless you pick the 3 that I picked, because I know you're not gonna pick dark beers. But it's not all about dark beers.
No.
Either. So what else can we talk about?
There's a beer that I like that I don't know what it would be considered, because I don't know all the Bach and Amber. I don't know exactly what that entails.
Yeah.
My dad used to drink a beer called, and I started drinking it, called Killian's Red.
Hmm.
I don't know what that would be considered.
It's red, I would think like amber.
Amber. I haven't had it in years, but I like
Unless
it.
it's just a name.
Yeah, it's Irish beer.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about beers. I know.
You know more about it than me.
I know I stay away from IPAs because it tastes like the bottom of a Christmas tree.
All right.
It's like we went to Goose one night and got like what do they call a flyer or something? Like flight, maybe it's a flight. Like 4 or 5 samples, little glasses. And there was a list. I just picked the coolest names, and 3 out of the 4 were IPAs. 1 sip I couldn't drink. Horrible. So I say
I'm not that adventurous with beer. My favorite beer is not an adventurous beer at all, but I love summer shandy.
Mm.
I love summer.
Yeah.
You mix beer with lemonade. 2 of my favorite things.
Winner.
Yes.
All right, what else do you want to talk about, Mike? Because we can't talk about wrestling every week. We're going to talk about football.
Football.
We're going to do Packers. We got preseason coming in September,
Usually beginning of August.
August.
Training camp is like July.
And of course, if there's anything between now and then,
Yeah.
we'll try to touch it. Picks or pickups, drafts. I think we should do our fantasy football draft.
Oh yeah, we should do our fantasy football draft down here.
And also,
I like following like the Milwaukee Bucks in basketball. I know a lot of people don't like the NBA.
my kids watch football. Or what's it called? Is it called basketball?
Yeah. It's
Packers, fantasy draft, and then eventually when we have our scheduled showtime, we could probably just have, as soon as we get a fan base, have the little Twitter machine going. They can ask us questions or suggestions or comments or
Who should we draft?
likes or dislikes. Yeah, maybe if we have enough followers, by the time we're drafting, maybe our 3rd pick goes out to one of our watchers, and then it's like, okay, so I got a pick. A bad pick could be a bad pick.
Yeah.
So yeah. Basketball. I know you don't like baseball too much,
We can talk about
but we can do
baseball.
Brewers.
Yeah.
We're gonna have special guests. We're gonna have my favorite, Mr. Haberman. He knows all about baseball. We're going to have Dr. William LeGrand here to talk about
We could
what's
we
baseball,
we could
football.
bring in different kinds of food, sampling.
Yeah. How would we do that? Like each week, each of us bring something from a different place, and then we rate it. You know what? Speaking of ratings, fish fries. Let's rank Bloody Marys. I'm not saying we're gonna have like 12 Bloody Marys here, but maybe like on a Friday we hit a couple places and try some Bloodies, and then the next week we come on and critique them,
Yeah.
rank them. Portage County's best. I don't want to go too far out of county.
Yeah.
We don't care about Wausau. I know. So, another thing. Minor league baseball. They could hit the Timber Rattlers, or even Rapids has the River Rats.
Exactly.
You know, we could maybe do a show out there. We could go out there and just set up the camera and
Yeah.
do that.
You could do that.
Pre-game for River Rats. Just I don't know enough about their roster, but it might be cool. Something different, so we don't get bored with this, because we put a lot of time. This is like years in the making, talking, and now it's finally happening.
I know.
So last week didn't work for some reason. This stuff gives me burps.
How did you? Here's a question.
Yeah.
How did you get into wrestling? Into watching wrestling? Did you liking wrestling?
You want to do that right now?
You want to?
Should we say that for another episode?
Save it for another.
Let's save that for next week,
We'll save it for next week, folks.
Because we're all over the place
Okay.
right now, and that could be like a whole 2-hour show itself. Because I've got my wrestling history from watching to dreaming to doing some indie stuff, and then back to watching and becoming a fan, and now I just critique the hell out of it because I hate it. I hate wrestling. Except for New Japan, Okada, Kenny Omega. You gotta watch Okada.
What channel is that on again?
Access. Just search for it and record it. Hangman Page. You ever hear of him? You've heard of Hangman Page? I almost said I hope he comes to WWE.
No.
No, but
If he's good in New Japan, he should stay in New
stay
Japan.
in New Japan. He's cool. Bullet Club member. He's got the look. He can wrestle. I like him. What did he just team up with Cody Rhodes last week against somebody? Young Bucks?
Was it?
Yeah, they had like Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. It was,
I don't know.
yeah. New Japan. Good stuff. But Hangman Page, yeah, he's like one of my favorites. He's just, I don't know, he just looks cool. He looks like a wrestler. If you think of a wrestler, it's not like big, like Batista, huge monster, but, a good looking guy that can wrestle. He's got a cool name. He's over.
Check it out.
That's all I care about is his look and the name, and
Yeah.
if you can wrestle. Like, Dolph Ziggler can wrestle, but that name just drives me nuts. Anybody needs a new repackaging is him. I know
I agree.
you try so hard to be the next Shawn Michaels, and you're not going to do it. Not with a name like Dolph Ziggler. Go home and just write stuff down.
Yeah.
Read a dictionary and think of some other words. That's how I came up with Remedy. Because I kept looking up Warrior. What's cool with Warrior? And then somehow
You like my Ultimate Warrior video?
Yeah. Wish we could get that on here. I don't know if I have Messenger on here. You know what? I did, when he opened his gym in Scottsdale, I applied to go down there. And he sent me pictures of the gym and of the ring and stuff. And I forgot how much it cost. It was like big bucks. I was like 19, 20. Seeing what you showed me in that video, I'm glad I did not go down there. Because 18, 19 years old, maybe 20-ish, I was probably 180 pounds, if that. Warrior would have just chewed me up, spit me out.